and welcome to the international programme. Well, this month the international team have dived into the CO2 challenge. Set by the Nuremberg metropolitan region, it's a challenge to help us all reduce our carbon footprint. Let's see how we got on. Running from the 22nd of February until the 8th of March, some challenges proved easier than others, but we learnt valuable lessons by taking part. Challenge 1 is Know Your Carbon Footprint. All I had to do was fill out this questionnaire and I got a score at the end. A carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases that are generated by our actions. In Germany, the average is 10.8 tonnes per person. The aim is to get to less than a tonne per person.
Hi everyone, today's day 5 of the CO2 challenge. I decided to join the challenge just so that I could see how accountable we really are. So let's start here. I realized that I'm not in too bad of shape. I've got everything pretty well organized. The only problem I see here is that my temperature is at least 2 degrees too cold. So I'm going to put it up to 7 and quickly close the door because we are losing energy. Defrosting the freezer is important. I did defrost a couple of months ago. If you have a film of ice, you can lose up to 30% energy. Stand by. Let's see how long it takes. To speed up the process, I bring out my secret weapon. Okay, now my last drawer goes in. And last but not least, don't forget to put your fridge and freezer back on.
Hello, my name is Anastasia and I'm really excited to be part of this CO2 challenge. My first challenge is to try to be vegan, and I'm already a vegetarian, so it should not be too hard for me, but I really love milk products. So I will show you what I will try to eat instead of milk. So for breakfast I'm having oatmeal, and instead of making it with usually milk and honey, I made it with barista oat milk and with agave syrup, and it's actually really good. I'm making my lunch right now and I'm thinking of making a sandwich, and instead of putting cheese or anything on it, which is not vegan, I found this. This is vegan salmon from Aldi. Aldi has a lot of vegan options and I hope it tastes good. The salmon was really good, and for dinner I'm having also, I found this at Aldi, vegan doner chunks, so fake meat, and I'm really excited. And in general, I would already say this day or this challenge was really good because I found so many new alternatives at Aldi.
Hello.
Hi.
We are the Miller Bernsteiner family and we try to do challenge 6 called Go For It.
So we are going to commit to not using our car for one day, which is not going to be easy, bringing 2 kids to the school in the morning on the bikes, getting back home, Danny going to school, going to work on her bike, and me going to the golf club on my bike.
We managed so far to go down from 2 cars to 1 car. We moved to Herzogenaurach, and this was one big point for us.
I can now use my bike to go to my work every day, and it's still possible, even with having 2 kids. It's not easy, but it's possible.
And definitely more easy in summer than in winter.
I love to go on my bike and I play football, and it's really good.
Hi, I'm back. Day 11. The challenge is to choose 3 items from my home in which palm oil was an ingredient, and then to find an alternative. Okay, so thanks to the app Yuka and the list of alternative names for palm oil, I was able to get through this exercise relatively freely. The first item that I looked at was my body lotion and found that it was quite high in palm oil, which is not uncommon. Palm oil exists in almost every beauty product, shampoo, soaps that we have in the home, but there are alternatives, and this is my alternative, another lotion. The next item I found was the peanut butter, this being the peanut butter that I normally use, and this being the peanut butter that my son uses, which has no palm oil at all. So it is now my new go-to peanut butter. My last item was this soap. My substitute is a refill anyways, which saves on packaging and contains very little palm oil, according to my app. What can I say? It's a work in process, so good luck and keep at it.
My next challenge is to not waste any food, and the first thing that came to my mind when it comes to not wasting food was the app Too Good To Go. It is a pretty new app. A friend of mine recommended it to me, I think half a year ago, and what it basically does is that it fights food waste. So it connects users with restaurants or in general places that provide food, and these places, when they have unsold surplus food, they can put it on the app at the end of the day, and when the customers see it, they can buy it on the phone and then pick the food up later. And I think it's kind of a win-win situation, because as a restaurant owner, you don't really need to waste any food, and you can still sell it, and as a customer, you can still buy food, but it is a lot cheaper and you're saving food. Yeah. And today I used the app Too Good To Go in Nuremberg, but you can also use it in Herzogenaurach. For example, I think a lot of bakeries here use it, and yeah. In Nuremberg I picked up some sushi, and it's not really old, and it was a lot cheaper than it usually is.
Clothes swapping. This action, organised by the Gymnasium in February, fits well with Challenge 12. We went along to film this super idea, which is good for the environment and good for your wallet.
The idea of the project is that people can save resources if they share more, and to educate students on sustainable fashion. So wearing stuff longer, making conscious decisions on what you buy. But a fun idea is also just to swap clothes, so you can just wear them a couple of times, then get new clothes without wasting any resources. People would bring in their clothes and get tokens in return. People with the tokens have the first pick, and after half an hour everyone can pick something, because it is really only sustainable if you also take used clothes. If you just clean out your closet, no resources are saved. Saving resources really begins when you do the whole cycle. We founded our club actually during the school year. 3 students volunteered to start a new club, and they really helped set us all up. They were asking around their friends, lots of my students joined in the club, and they really did lots of this work on their own. They were coming up with ideas, they were being creative, they were there to pick up the clothes from the fellow students, and they helped arrange the clothes in advance here so we could have them here nicely. None of this gets thrown away. Everything that people do not want anymore and no one picked up, we will donate to people in need.
It certainly was a well-attended event. What did the students who participated in the clothes swapping think?
Also ich habe hier eine Jeansjacke gekauft, und diese Jeansjacke, ich habe auch eine ähnliche abgegeben, und die war mir leider zu klein, und jetzt habe ich eine neue, größere gefunden. Das fand ich sehr schön. Ich habe hier einen wunderschönen Pulli gefunden, der war sogar doppelt, und ich und meine Freundin haben jetzt sogar den gleichen. Also das fand ich richtig cool. Und ich habe hier noch 2 Blusen, und die fand ich richtig schön.
I just went shopping for clothes a few weeks ago, and now if I just needed anything I could have just come here a bit earlier, but yes. I found these shoes. I tried them on just now and they fit me, so yeah, I'm pretty happy.
I actually didn't expect it to go so well. It's a new concept. I thought only a dozen people would come, but really it's been lots and lots of people coming, and I'm really just happy that it worked out like that. And I'm really proud of my students because they just did so much of those work on their own.
I started this project, we were 3 people, and one of the girls is ill. She had a very bad accident, and then a lot of other people came too, so, for example, Hannah. It wasn't that difficult to organize. We had 3 days where the guys can bring us the clothes, and then today we sorted the clothes to the different sizes, and now everybody can come.
The organisers are rightly pleased with their efforts. And would they like to see this as a permanent fixture in the school calendar?
Yes, I would really want to do that because I think it's very cool to do something like that, and it also is good for people who can't buy new clothes because they're too expensive. And
I love the idea of the clothes swap because I think at least everybody has at least one item in their closet that they don't need anymore or that they don't want or wear anymore, so they can just bring it here and get something new, and I think that's a great idea. So and I definitely want to see something like that in the future. Maybe it's already getting planned. I'm not sure about that, but I'm excited. I like it.
We were thinking we could do this biannually, so we could have a summer and a winter version, and then if people get used to it, it will get better and better, and also we probably learn about it every time that we repeat it.
How does sorting our garbage contribute to lowering our carbon footprint? Well, the more garbage we produce, the more we have in our landfills. And the more we have in our landfills, the more CO2 we put off. Separating our household waste greatly reduces this cycle. And with some waste products like biodegradable waste, we can even enhance our environment. Our district, Erlangen-Höchstadt, relies on 2 methods to deal with biodegradable waste: private household compost and communal household compost. The waste picked up every 2 weeks is then recycled at the landfill site and converted to commercial compost for gardening and farming. Beware, though, that you can get a fine for not separating properly if something obvious like plastic is found in your bin.
Hello, so the next challenge is going to be to only drink tap water for the whole entire day. And I chose this challenge because for me personally, it's already hard enough to only drink water for the whole entire day because I am sadly addicted to any kind of sugary beverages that are in plastic bottles, which is really bad for the environment. So this morning, I only drank tap water. And for school, I also brought my reusable water bottle, so I can fill it up here. And I think the harder challenge will be during the day because at school later in the day I get really tired and I want some sort of caffeine or sugary beverage, and I will see how I will do that. Okay, so I am done with school now, and it was definitely a challenge for me to only drink tap water because my body's just so used to the pushing effect of sugary beverages, and in the end I felt that I had no energy in me. But in the end I actually brought something with me. These are like energy tablets that you put inside of your water, and they're kind of like a substitute for energy drinks, and this was the thing that kind of got me through the day. And in the end, I still only drank tap water. So I think this challenge was a success. And I hope in the future I will try to still only drink tap water instead of like sugary beverages.
No plastic is fantastic. Sounds fairly obvious, doesn't it? But then you go for your weekly shop, and reality is often harder than we'd like. It takes a lot of research to find the best alternatives. The staff and children at the Villa Herzolino are going to participate in the 1 Week Without Plastic campaign that takes place from the 19th to the 26th of March. Already working hard to keep their plastic to a minimum, the Villa team have been looking at all areas of sustainability for several years, from buying as much as possible seasonal, local and bio, to making their own compost for their own fruit and veg garden, always including the children in the process. One of the suggestions on that week challenge is to write a diary. This is a great way of focusing your mind on what you're really doing. And one of the first things I do every day is take a shower. Now, when did we start replacing this with these? This is a great way of reducing the plastic that you have all over your house. A simple bar of soap instead of all these soap dispensers.
When we started to analyze our electricity consumption, I invested in a 20 euro device to measure your wattage. And one thing took me by surprise is how much a TV actually consumes. And the TV consumes nowadays a lot less than in former days, but a TV is also much larger than it used to be. Here you see this device in action. I have the TV running and it takes now 275 watts. TVs have a so-called backlight. This backlight is always on and it adjusts itself sometimes automatically. And if you reduce the backlight to about 45%, then you reduce substantially your electricity consumption. Now the consumption went down to 92 watts. By closing the curtains, you compensate the loss in image quality. This little trick saves you roughly 40 euros a year.
My last CO2 challenge is no flicks and chill, so I'm not allowed to use streaming entertainment options. And yeah, I'm starting this challenge in the evening or like at nighttime because usually during the day I don't really watch any movies or series, but now it's evening time and that's usually the time when I don't want to think about anything and I just want to watch something. So now instead of watching Netflix or Amazon Prime, I'm going to read a book before I go to sleep, just a few pages. And yeah, I already know that this is going to be really good for my mental health because usually when I watch like some kind of movie for like 2 hours and scrolling through TikTok before going to sleep, I can't really sleep well. And when I read a book, I feel good about myself. Plus it's good for the environment. So again, a win-win situation for my mental health and for the environment. And yeah, so I'm actually really happy that I can do this challenge.
Finally, a challenge that I can really sink my teeth into. Fortunately for the changes in diet with my kids in the last few years, one being vegan, the other vegetarian, we're already half vegetarian, so eating meatless every other day is not a problem for us. And with recipe sites like this and the recommendations that we have from friends of ours, we have a lot of food for thought.
I really love the recipes Maya creates because they're so easy to make and don't take very long. And even if you don't have all the ingredients, it still tastes really good. Every one of her recipes that I tried turned out great. Plus, I like supporting her because she's so young.
My favorite vegan blog has to be Zucker und Jagdwurst. They talk about vegan food in such a fun way. They have crazy creative recipes. I once tried out bacon made out of rice paper, which was really good. Even if you don't want to be vegan, if you're not even vegetarian, you just want to try out the recipes because they sound so interesting. And that's why I love them.
Who would have thought that such a culinary adventure could be so good for you?
Well, I hope you're feeling enthusiastic about making a few changes in your life. But before you jump on your bike and use it to go to work, you need to make some safety checks. So we've come along to Bike Project to find out what you need to do.
Vor der Abfahrt ist quasi zu prüfen, ob die Lichtanlage funktioniert, ob der Reifendruck richtig ist, in Ordnung ist und das Profil in Ordnung ist. Zusätzlich soll man schauen, ob die Kette richtig geölt ist, um Verschleiß zu vermeiden und die Bremsbeläge auf Verschleiß prüfen.
Okay, easy.
Das war's.
Okay, super, thank you. And of course, if you don't know how to do that yourself, you can always bring your bike along to Bike Project. So that's challenge 4 completed and the end of the checklist. Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.